going to talk to the folks today about how to hire others to run your medical billing company. This is going to be a great, interesting topic this afternoon, but I know there's some other things that you wanted to share about just the business in general as well.
Yeah, I ran across this little thing in franchiseinsights.com. It's a chart here that shows the top reasons people say that they want to own a business.
Right.
Of course, the top one there is to be your own boss. Folks, there is nothing like being your own boss. If you are not making enough money, you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you say, you know what, you need to work a little harder today and I'll give you a raise.
Absolutely.
And that's the great part about it, is you can just set your own, limits as to what you want to do or not do. Of course, the income potential is one of the things people choose. They want to make money. And we're going to show that today, that there is some good money to be made in this business. The lifestyle, Eric, I know you have all of your grandkids there with you this week. And
they do. They are.
We have our 5 that come over here too sometimes. And boy, it's a madhouse. But that's part of the lifestyle, isn't it? Being able to live and be with your family. I kid about this, but we are one of the few families that have been able to run a business for 27 years and not kill each other. That's an important part of it.
Absolutely.
And of course, some people run a side business. We have people who build this part-time, Eric, as you know. We can teach people how to do this outside their 9-to-5 job.
Right.
Once they get a client, or maybe 1 or 2, depends on how, what kind of volume they have, you can just say goodbye to that boss.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of that, having a side business there, is to supplement some more income. Obviously, one of the topic that we're talking about today is they got people running their own business. That gives them the flexibility, maybe even starting another business. Could be another side business in healthcare. There's lots of different avenues of what can be happening there.
Sure.
But I know there's just one other one that you said, that the future business owners prefer franchises, and what options are you considering for owning your business? And it's kind of talked about it here.
That first one, buy an existing business, reminds me, we had a licensee up in the New York area, somewhere up there in New York. I think you'll remember this guy. He was from Russia. Him and his partner, friend that had started another business. They wanted to get into medical billing. Well, they looked at buying an existing medical billing business that's out there. So they did some research and found one, and they bid on it, and they didn't get it. Somebody else outbid them. So they said, well, look, we can find out how to learn this on our own. So they did some research, found us. This has been several years ago. They've been
several years ago.
Yeah, but they've made a really successful business out of it, of course. Once they found us and we taught them what to do, they didn't need to buy another business. The other business was going to be like almost $1 million. I mean, it was,
correct.
They had a lot of clients. Or you could start a business from scratch, but you know what, folks, I tell people, do not reinvent the wheel. You do not have to start from scratch. We've done all the hard work for you. We've put all the pieces together of the puzzle. We call it a business in a box, because literally we ship you a box of stuff. But you've also got access to our lifetime support site, our support, people. You've got all the access to all of the other training that we have out there on our licensee support site. But most people want to buy a franchise. And if you look at franchises, Eric, they can be expensive. I mean, some of them are $50,000, $60,000 just for the licensing or franchise fee. Then they want to skim off 6 to 7, 8, 9% off of your gross profits each month. And they take that. That's their franchise ongoing fee. We don't have that. We don't have territories. We don't have ongoing costs of any kind. Once people buy our license, which is like a franchise fee, it's about $28,000 now, going up, by the way, on the first of the year. I learned that last week on our webinar from Adam, my son, who's the CEO. We're going up on the price. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know this. It's a bargain right now.
It's still a bargain.
It's a bargain. Anything under $30,000 that's a business opportunity / franchise is a bargain. And and then, of course, we have our money back guarantee that we'll tell people about here towards the end as well.
And, it's kind of that, talking about that middle part there, start from scratch. You kind of mentioned already that there's a one-time fee, right at $28,000, just under $30,000, and people can go start even a medical billing business from scratch. But again, the time, the effort, the marketing pieces that you have to put together. You pull all of that together, and you're going to be very close to that same amount what's going to cost you to get this a medical billing company started off the ground.
Easily. Yeah. I've spent $15,000, $20,000 on just developing one of the marketing books that we let our business owners, our licensees use. So it is very expensive, to do your own thing. Plus, the time that you're spending figuring all this out and putting all the pieces together and doing your research, you could have been just going out and getting a client and starting to make money.
That's the big thing. And with the support that you're going to hear about from what you can get from ABS, you'll find out that is very, very, very beneficial. Patrick, one of the things that a lot of people are always asking is it a good business? Is it something that's going to be here for the longevity? And obviously, ABS has been around for 27 years and going on 30 pretty quickly, but just the statistics showing really what kind of money is out there in the revenue cycle management marketplace.
Yeah, and this is a good reason to download the slides that Eric mentioned earlier. It's in the chat window. Just go to the chat window, go all the way to the top. We put it in there right at the beginning, and that is a PDF of all the slides that we're showing you. The reason you need those is because I'll bet you can't read that little bitty URL down at the bottom there. But when you get the slides in a PDF, you could blow that up and read it and type that in if you want to see where we're getting all these quotes. Now, this particular article is great. In fact, we kind of pulled out these first few quotes here in the next slide so that we can just read them, paragraph by paragraph. But basically, this article is saying that the U.S. revenue cycle management market size was valued at $120.7 billion last year, Eric. That is right. A big chunk of the entire marketplace that's out there. And it's expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 11.2% starting this year through 2028. So folks, if you're looking for something that has some kind of growth potential, and this is it. This is the business to be in. I don't know if any other business is going to grow by 11%. Some of them are shrinking by 11% every year.
Yeah, and going backwards the other way. That's sure.
Exactly.
Also, Patrick, I know as we're kind of leaning towards how to hire others to run your medical billing company, I pulled this information from Inc. magazine, and folks, obviously, again, there's the URL, very tiny down there, so that's why we encourage you to go download what we've got here. But you can read all of these, and these are some of the things that, as you're trying to think about who you're going to hire, these are the qualities of people that you need to be looking for. And I tell you, I think some of the most important is obviously number 1, number 6, and number 9. Those are part of it that I would think you got to have in this business. You got to have kind of a funny side of yourself, but really it's people that have a drive because they're helping you build your business.
Yes, that's right. And we're going to talk about this in detail as we go through this webinar. But folks, you can build this on your own. In fact, we have a quote that I'll show you a little bit later from a lady who's she's got 9 clients. She's doing all the billing herself right now. She hasn't hired anybody to help her. So you can do several clients on your own if you're full-time like she is. But somewhere down the line, you might get to the point where you think, you know what? I don't want to do all this data entry every day. I've done enough of it. I want to just hire somebody to do it. And you can for a lot less than you're making. So you can be bringing in a lot of money, pay this other person to do the actual medical billing and manage them online through our cloud-based system, of course, and still pocket a good profit for their efforts. So that's a nice thing about owning your own business. You're making money off the people that work for you.
Patrick, I'm going to answer a couple of questions here now. Folks, there's a couple of places to ask questions. You can ask questions. There's a chat box there, which we're not monitoring, but then there's a Q&A box that we are monitoring. So if you got questions, ask that over there. Now, for those that are in the chat area, some people were asking, where's the option to download the slides? You may have to scroll all the way back up to the top, and we posted that at 3:39. So if you see that, if not, Patrick, you might want to put that back in there so it might get captured as it may not be there as we started the webinar. So if you want to put that PDF back in that chat
that's
area.
That's a good point. Okay. That's a good
So
point, Eric. I hadn't thought about that. We dropped that in there before we started the webinar. Maybe it didn't show up for people there. But if somebody sees that, you might just type a little note there in the chat window to let us know that you did see the one at the very beginning. That would be helpful. Meanwhile, I'm going to go look for that file and put it in there again.
very good. So again, folks, if you got questions, ask it in the Q&A area. That's the one that we are both monitoring for questions and answers. So before we actually get started in answering the questions about how to hire, I think Patrick just put that in there, so hopefully everybody can see it and you should be able to get it. How to hire someone to run your medical billing company. There are some people on here who may be, this might be your first time to hear anything about American Business System. So we're going to do a brief overview of what it's going to take for you to even understand the opportunity. Because I think what you'll hear and what you'll see through the rest of it, you'll find out, oh, maybe I want to hire this out, or maybe I want to hire that out. There's different opportunities of what you can do. So let's talk about what is the opportunity. And Patrick, I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, and I showed this screen up here earlier. It kind of starts with everything that we see here. It's the medical billing platform that's called iClaim and EMRX.
Yeah, and as you can see, folks, it runs really on any platform. It could be a Windows computer. It could be an Apple computer. It doesn't matter what type of computer or even what browser you're using. This is a kind of a generic program that you can log in from anywhere, anytime that you have an internet connection. So there's nothing that resides on your computer. With a cloud-based system, you don't have to install any software off of any DVDs. You don't download anything. It's just there, and you just log in, just like if you go to a banking site. You'd log in and start doing your online banking. Well, this is our software that we developed specifically for doing it online in the cloud. And Eric, it just blows people away when they see the demo of this.
Right. It truly does. And folks, he just said, to see a demo of our system, if you haven't taken the time to get with the person that's invited you to the webinar today and ask them to see a demonstration of the software, please get that done. That's going to be very, very, very important. We're going to kind of encapsulate this as best we can for you to understand that ABS has what we know of as what's called a true cloud-based system. And it begins with part of our cloud-based system that actually has what's called a patient portal. The patient portal is obviously where the patients get started putting in their information. Now, some of you by now probably have gone online, you put your information in online. Folks, we've been doing this for over 10 years. Some of the EMR systems and systems out there, just getting all this started within the last few years. So we're kind of like the granddaddy of all of the ones that have been out there already, that already has what's called a completely integrated patient portal. Well, that gets fed into what's known as the iClaim, what's called the practice management system. That practice management system will take whatever is in that patient portal and actually input it into there. So when the doctor we're getting ready to see you, then they're able to put that information into what's called the electronic medical records, which ours is called EMRX. And so this is, like Patrick said, this is all integrated. It's a cloud-based system. You don't have to put in updates. And Patrick, for people that have to keep putting updates, and I know that even with Mac servers, some of the services we have with Apple, there's still updates that we have to do. But when you've got working with a cloud-based system, the patches, the updates, the upgrades, especially with all the codes, that's all done behind the scenes. It's done for every time that someone logs into the system.
Yeah, it's just there. I mean, when people say, well, what do I need to do to update my system? Nothing. You simply log in. You could be using the system today and log in tomorrow morning, and it looks a little different. We've got something added to it. We're constantly upgrading and adding to the system because we want to keep it, it has to be kept up to date, right? Things change. And since our system was designed by two medical doctors over 20 years ago, this has been proven, folks. We have thousands of doctors that are on our system, and we're doing literally thousands and thousands of claims through the system every day. So the thing that makes us really different, of course, is the next piece there that's missing from that puzzle, and that's the clearinghouse. Let's talk about that just for a little while, Eric. What's a
Yeah,
clearing?
you bet. You see this, it rounds out here at this thing called the clearinghouse. And I'm going to jump over a couple of slides here because I want to share with you folks that it really what makes ABS superior, or what we consider to be the best choice out there. Patrick and I have been at this a long time. We've been at this whole thing a long time, and we know that with an older system that Patrick, actually, I think you started off with, was actually one that came in on, do I dare to say, those little floppy disk things, the little things that had the.
That's right. It was.
Yeah. And then it went to CDs and then to DVDs. And finally, it went online. But with the older softwares, you had to connect yourself to some outsourced third-party clearinghouse. And now we have that completely integrated into the systems that you don't have to go look for a clearinghouse. Now, some people will say, Patrick, we know who will say, you want the freedom to have your own clearinghouse. I don't know how better to say that. If you've got it already, a clearinghouse is a clearinghouse is a clearinghouse, except for ours. Ours is literally within inside of our system. You don't have to connect it, and it's getting those claims out the door much quicker.
Right. So in any other system that we know of that's out there, folks, especially the kind that are server based, that is, you install the software on your own computer and all the data is held there on your computer. That's old fashioned stuff. I mean, that's out of date. But you have to send it to what's called a third party clearinghouse. That's a company that's been set up just to take the insurance payers and connect them with you and get the doctor paid. So the clearinghouse also scrubs the claims, we call it, that catches the errors and then prompts you to make corrections before you submit it to the actual payers. But you see, that can be a process where you're sending it to the clearinghouse finds the errors and sends them back to you. You correct them, then send them back to the clearinghouse, and then they submit them to the payers and hope that it goes through. We don't do that. Ours is all in our system, built in, so that when you push the button to submit it to the payer, it's straight to the payer, and we've already checked it for everything. That's a very unique difference between what's out there, folks. It can mean the doctor getting paid 20, 30% more than they're getting paid now. Now, imagine a doctor's revenue increased by even 20%. That could be a lot, $20,000 more dollars, right? So it's very unique. That lowers our rejections because we're in control of it, because it's our clearinghouse, again, developed by medical doctors specifically to make sure that the claims get accepted. So
absolutely. And we're going to kind of illustrate this with just this one slide here, kind of sharing again what makes ABS superior, the best choice out of all the other systems. Because again, when you go out, you got to think of it this way, folks. We already told you that you could go out there and start from scratch and do all of your own medical billing from scratch, which means you're going to have to go find your own piece of software. There's a lot of different softwares, and then you're going to have to negotiate all the pricing and the cost that goes along with that. Now, with that said, Patrick Esther has asked a question about, are there any ongoing fees? And we're going to get to that right after we get through explaining this particular slide here. But with our system, everything is integrated. So you got the patient portal, which is, we've already started off with that. Then it goes into the electronic medical records, which is the doctor's EMR system. And then it flows over into the iClaim and the clearinghouse. You can see that it sits within inside it. We kind of just overlaid that, superimposed that. It really doesn't look like this. It's just there for you to kind of grasp what this is all about. Because when you process a claim in here, it's not going to be sent to something outside of the system that stands between the system and those insurance companies. Ours is built in. So then when a claim gets processed, it's going directly to the insurance companies. And then when the claims come back for processing, it comes right directly back into your system. So again, you want something, when you're out there marketing your business, you want to have something distinctively different out there in the marketplace. So That's what makes ABS superior, in at least in that. Patrick, you want to take Esther's question here, and let's answer about the ongoing fee.
Yeah, she says after paying the buy-in fee, she's talking about we call it a license fee. It's kind of like a franchise fee. That's the $28,000 that I mentioned to you earlier. She says, what are the ongoing fees involved and or percentage of revenue sharing for an owner? Well, the good news is, Esther, that is it. Once you pay that fee, we call it a one-time lifetime licensing fee. And we mean that because you see on the back end, we make money on the transactions that go through that you're submitting to the clearinghouse for the doctor, to the payers. So we make a few pennies on every claim that's submitted. That means we have an ongoing relationship with you. We have a motivation to keep you motivated and finding more business that's out there because we make a few pennies on that on the back end as well. So therefore, there are no fees. There are no support fees, no user fees, no seats at the computer. Nothing, no upgrades or updates to the software. That's all inclusive, and it's a one-time fee. So
there you go. And that kind of helps us lead into what is the return on investment. And this is a great question here, because we just talked about the ongoing fees, if there is any ongoing fees, and you know that there's not. But we wanted to share with you just a synopsis or how to figure this thing out. Now, Patrick, you want to share with them where they can find this calculator or this income potential calculator?
Yes, that website you see at the very bottom of every one of our slides today is absystems.com. Go there and then just look up at the top for income potential. And when you click on that, there's a calculator. That's what this is. We built in a little calculator here so that you can type in the numbers that you see there. We've already got some filled in. I think these are the standard numbers that are in there. 5 doctors, assuming you've got 5 doctors, each having 20 patients a day, claims a day, and then 5 days a week that they actually open. Some doctors open only 4, some 6. But anyway, and then the last thing down there is the percentage that you're going to be charging. So Esther, what we teach you is how to price for any particular doctor. They're all a little different sometimes, what you should be charging. Now that's up to you. It's your business. So you have the final say in everything, but we can suggest to you what we've seen over the years. And we know it runs from, 6% to 8-9% at the most, probably, that most doctors are willing to pay. And so we've got plugged in here, 7% of an average claim of around $150. So assuming that you had 5 doctors, that means you had, 1 doctor a day that you're doing the claims for. Let's see what kind of money could be made.
Absolutely. Let me clear all these drawings here and get back to the mouse and click the submit button. And you can see right there, $22,000 a month.
There you go, folks. That's almost what our entire licensing fee is. But in a year's time, that's $273,000, which is not bad for a home-based business. And Eric, they still would be working almost part-time with just 5 doctors, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we kind of, obviously divide all of this out, if you just took 273 and divided by, 5, you're gonna come out with just over $30,000 in your first year, if not closer to 35,000. And so I can't do the calculation in my head just that quickly, but you can see how quickly this really does add up. And for one doctor, for you to take care of one doctor is basically on average anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours a day of actually, once you kind of got some things click in and run in with it, obviously you're going to be investing a lot more time in the beginning for your first doctor. But once you've got it kind of working and you really got it going, if you're working with a doctor that's basically sending the same codes, the same issues that they're seeing every day, and they're, again, seeing 20 to 25 patients, maybe as high as 30 patients a day, that should take you no more than a couple of hours of billing a day.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you literally can do a claim, folks, a claim that's a repeat claim, the patient's been in prior to that, within a couple of minutes. So it literally is that fast to do a claim. And you could be making, $7, $8, $9 or more, depending on the claim amount, of course, at that 7%. So it mounts up fast.
Well, I did the calculation while you were talking. I'm sorry, I was off by $20,000. one doctor, according to this, is $54,600 a year. So for one doctor working less than 2 hours a day, if you divided that out between, all that part-time work, you're going to be finding that you're making well over $100 an hour doing it that way. So just food for thought.
Yeah.
Food for thought there. Patrick, there is a couple of other questions here. We're kind of at the bottom of the hour, so let's see if we can't tackle a couple of these 2 questions. So there's another one from Esther, and then another one from Sikander.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Sikander's question is, what type of certifications are needed to be doing the billing and coding? Now, folks, this is the confusing part for people who are first looking into this business, because if you research the internet, you'll think that you've got to go to a college and take a course on medical billing or coding or both, or some other online course for that. And folks, that's not necessary. With our business, we literally have taken people from scratch that have no background in the medical field whatsoever. And going through our training, they learn exactly what they need to do. And since all the codes are built into our system, automatically updated on a regular basis, you don't have to worry about the codes. They're already there. And we even show the doctors how they can select from suggested codes for various visits from their patients. It's just a fantastic new way to do this business, and you don't need to go through coding or certification of any kind. The certificate that we give you is the only thing that you need once you finish the training. Yeah.
There you go. I got you. I had to unmute there. Let me answer Esther's. Esther, any physician or practice, or like in your case, doing pharmacy billing, anybody that's doing on a CMS 1500 form, you can do billing. So just understand that anybody that bills on a CMS 1500 form, you can do the billing for that. So good. And I'm going to move on here, Patrick. I know we got some other questions that are coming in, but hopefully they might get answered as we kind of go through this next whole section here. How will I get trained? That's probably a great question that people are going to want to know. I remember we used to, Patrick, have live training. You remember those days?
Live, right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We had a hotel. People would fly down here now imagine they had to take off work. They had to find a babysitter. They had to pay for the flight and of course the hotel for a week. But it was a very good, it was so intense that we felt like it needed to be live. Then at one point in the late 2019, we decided, you know what? We see where the world is going. It's going to online Zoom meetings and other type things. And we just said, we're going to move virtually. And we did. And everything is done virtually now. It's still with a live instructor. We have a live person, just like Eric and I are live right now. See, we're waving to you right now. And so your instructor will be live that you're talking with, but it's just you. It's just you and the instructor, unless you invite somebody else to be on the training, which you can. But otherwise, it's just you. And of course, that's part of our training, Carl. Carl's asking, when it comes to getting clients, how can you help us? Well, we're going to touch on that just a little bit here and a few more slides, Carl, so hang in there with us.
Well, I've got all the modules put up here now. It's a little bit small on the screen because we do go through a lot, folks. And if again, hopefully you can download the slide deck and you can see it. But obviously you can see it starts off with just, kind of the day in the life of a medical biller. But as you kind of start going through this, modules 3, 4, 5, it's getting you prepped for module 6, which is introduction to marketing. And we start off with warm marketing and direct contacts. And you can even see there's some homework, which means that what's going to happen there at that part of the training, your trainer is going to say, you just learned this, now go do it. And so there's really some hands-on part of what you're going to be doing, and it's going to help you understand how to get all of this done. So you're going to understand really quickly, Carl, how getting clients, how we help you get those clients, because we're assisting you getting your clients right through training.
Yeah, in fact, we teach you exactly how to do that. And if you don't want to do any marketing yourself, we'll also have a whole section on how to hire and train and pay commissioned sales reps.
Absolutely.
Can bring you all the business that you want or need. So yeah, we teach about a
Patrick,
dozen different ways.
I'm putting
There's
this up. I'm putting this up here because this is, you want to introduce some of our trainers that we have here?
Yeah, this is some of the people that actually do the training for us. They're also our coaches, which we also have a coaching program, which means that if you get stuck, if you really get bogged down in something, we'll put you in contact with somebody who's got a business that's just thriving and booming. And, we pay them, of course, for their time as a coach, but there are other owners just like you, and they're willing to do that to help you out. And of course, for what we pay them for their time. But the point is, folks, we have a whole network of people out here ready to support you.
Absolutely. And kind of going towards Carl's question, how do we help you get your clients? Excuse me. We asked the question, and because people ask the question, does the marketing work? Patrick, why don't you share just a brief, obviously where you came from? I mean, you've been in marketing for at least 2 years, right?
More like 200 years. Yeah, all I've done all my life, in fact, Eric, right out of college, as you know, I started my own business. We were selling waterless cookware and making a lot of money doing that. In fact, I was making more than most of my college professors that were teaching me. And so I decided to drop out of college, about 20 hours away from my degree. I've always been an entrepreneur, building businesses and teaching people how to do that. Listen, the marketing is the hardest part of any business, any franchise you start. You think opening a sandwich shop is easy, but it's getting people to come in that front door that's the hard part. And so the same is true with a business like this. You need a client to start with, just one, because we'll show you that doctors refer other doctors and your business can grow through referrals if you just get it started. We're going to teach you how to get that first doctor. That's our goal. Everybody in our support department, our goal is to get you that first client. And once you do, it kind of builds on its own. It's just like automatic growth.
Well, talking about business partners and helping people get their first clients here, why don't you talk about who this lady is, Dr. Vicki Rachner?
A few years ago, I was searching for somebody on the internet that could help support and coach and teach our licensees, our business owners, how to go out and connect with doctors, because selling anything to a doctor is just different from anything else that's out there. I don't know how to explain it, but they're just a different breed. And so we teach you how to do that through Dr. Vicki Rachner, who's been doing this for 10 years at least, with other business owners who want to connect with doctors, like financial planners and CPAs and things like that. Now, she's helped us write a couple of books here that you can see here on the screen, me and my son. These are books that basically teach you how to go out and utilize these as marketing tools. Your name can be right on the front cover of this book as you hand it to the doctor. So it builds huge credibility. And you can say that you've actually partnered with a doctor, and we'll introduce you to Dr. Vicki, and she'll teach you some of the modules that you'll be going through in your training too. So it's a wonderful way to do it. I have one of those books here somewhere right handy, but anyway, it's a book that you can actually just hand to the doctor. It's a paperback book. They can find it on the internet right now through Amazon. They're like $24.95 a copy, but you'll be able to buy these at our printing cost, which is around $4 a copy. Yeah, with your name on it.
I mentioned earlier this organization called MERMA, and this is an organization that is really all of our ABS network of medical billers. So we used to say we're the largest independent group of medical billers. And so what we did, we shifted that from ABS to this group called MERMA. And because what we wanted strategically to do is whenever people want to go out there and search for what organizations are you part of, you can go out there and say, I'm a part of MERMA. and it kind of doesn't drive them back to ABS. So we've got this group here, and then they're the ones that certify you, because again, all these different people that Patrick kind of said are your business coaches are on this particular page right here.
Yeah, and guys, if you go to that website and actually read about each one of these people, you'll see that these are some of the leaders in this industry. We've connected with people who are actually CEOs and owners of businesses that are partnering with us to go out and help doctors stay in private practice and thrive. And that's your job, is to help the doctors in your community to thrive and hopefully make a lot of money at the same time.
And asking if the marketing works. We've got marketing pieces. Patrick had mentioned earlier to you that we have spent a lot of money with just the marketing and writing the copy. You know, Patrick, I remember whenever I first started marketing some of my own stuff, I could pretty much design just about anything, but what I could not do was write the copy, which is all of the information in there. That was always the biggest struggle for me. But this is part of the complete business package of what you're getting here with American Business Systems.
Right. And these flyers, by the way, are they're generic, what you're seeing here on the screen. You get a few of those in your initial kit that's shipped to you, but you can actually order from a printer that we've arranged at no extra cost. Of course, we're going to pay for the printing of these flyers with your name and company name and contact information right there on the flyer. So it's a very professional way to do business. These all look and feel the same, but they're all services that you can offer to the doctor in addition to the billing, and make money on all of them. I told you we made money on the back end. Here's one of them, for example, that we just introduced here recently, called virtual care. Eric, why don't you share a little bit about this? Because this is
I will. Yeah. I mean, obviously, folks, everybody knows that we've been under a pandemic for quite some time, and the struggles that has brought to everybody, including all of us here in medical billing. So Patrick and Adam is specifically has been very, very diligent about finding new partnerships, whether it's the virtual care or whether it's the dental billing that we're able to do now, several other different business partners that we have for our business owners here. And virtual care is one of them, because folks, you know that the telehealth was booming, and with COVID that happened, the doctors needed a way in which to remotely measure blood pressure, glucometers, which would be, the blood sugar. And there are devices out there, folks, that you may not even know of as of right now. There are literally devices out there that are cellular devices that when a patient takes their blood pressure reading, it automatically goes into a system. And if needed, there is a nurse on the other end that will contact that patient to follow up with them. Now, the great thing about this is that the doctors get reimbursed by Medicare for this. And you talk about adding more revenue to the doctor without them having to see patients. This is why we've added this in here. I don't think you're going to find another medical billing franchise or business opportunity out there that has this part of their package. Because not only will this bring close to anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 more in revenue to the doctor, it actually adds more money to you, because you're making, again, a little bit on top of every transaction that happens there as well. So this is very important now as we are moving into not just the 21st century, but the 22nd century pretty quickly. But as we're going all through this is a big deal that's happening.
Yeah, this is the future, no doubt about it. And folks, we want to be able to tap you into it as well as the doctor. We can generate more revenue for the doctor's office, more revenue for you. And the great thing is that we actually have people who do all of this virtual care, long distance monitoring of the patients for the doctor. So it's a win-win for everybody, Eric. The doctor wins because they don't have to devote any extra staff or time. This is just done for them, and they just get a check in the mail every month. And it just, like you said, could add $100,000 or more to their annual revenue.
Absolutely. Sikander is asking, can we provide medical or billing services to dentists, chiropractors, therapists? And the answer is yes. You're going to have to use two different systems. We've got the iClaim system that is going to be for doctors and therapists, chiropractors, those they bill on the CMS 1500 form. Then we have what's called Dentamax. Dentamax is a completely separate system from iClaim. So we've got Dentamax that you can do. So you have no limitations on what type of doctors or practices that you can provide services for.
Yeah, you can do billing for chiropractors and therapists, and I forget what else you said there, but
dentists.
Yeah, but the point is, there's no limitations. There are literally dozens of different specialties that are out there, and they all file on that CMS 1500 form that we mentioned earlier. Now it's all done electronically through our system, of course, but it does provide all the information that they need for that. So,
right. All right, so we're going to talk to you real quickly. We've got about 15 minutes left, actually less than 15 minutes left here. And we want to give enough time for Patrick to go over the kind of your next steps of what you might need to do. Patrick, we're talking about how good is the support, because support is only good for a little bit of time for some companies, but a lifetime here for ABS.
Yeah, we decided just a few years back that even though we had a limitation of, I think, 1 year, maybe 2 years that we had expanded our support to. And at one point, I just got into a room with all of our people and I said, look, folks, since we make money on the back end on all of the transactions that go through, don't we want these people to sign up as many clients as they can? And so I said, let's just help them do that. And that means unlimited support for as long as you are running claims through our system. You have our support. Here's a picture of one of our support centers out in California. Folks, we have over 100 people with all of our technology partners that can support our licensees. That doesn't include our network of other business owners like yourself that will be able to help you and support you as well. It's just a tremendous, we've just put everything together, and since we don't charge anything for support going forward, you don't ever have to worry about that. We're going to be there to support you. We have for 27 years. We'll be here another 27 years, I predict.
Absolutely. And then that kind of goes with Sikander's other question: is there dedicated tech support for software issues? And there absolutely is. This is literally one of them. That picture of one of them right there. So, yeah. Patrick, you kind of mentioned that there is another service out there that actually charges more for their support than what we do.
Yeah, this is just out of one of our competitors' agreements. We just wanted to show you that in live right here that they're saying that the licensor will offer ongoing technical support for only $1,295 per year. Now that's optional, but you'll find out that you could spend over a 10-year period another $12,000. Just for the support on these types of companies. We don't believe in that. Ours are completely transparent, and we are 100% supporting you for as long as you're a licensee. Yeah.
Patrick, I know that our time is running out pretty quickly, but I wanted to at least show some of the information that people can get. They're getting access to a licensee support site, and this is all web-based. I remember whenever we used to have all of our support, again, on those little CDs that we would ship those out with everybody. And what a burden that was.
Yeah, so this site that you're looking at, folks, of course, you have to have a login to it. Once you become a licensee, we give you access to this site. It literally has, since 2014, I think is when we started this site, Eric. So it's got everything from 2014, all the posts, all the documents, all the webinars, all the videos, all the marketing ideas. There is a ton of stuff. I tell people, even though our initial training is just 10 modules, you'll be able to go into this site here and spend whatever time you want, hours and hours of additional training and support items, with no extra cost, of course. That's access is that for lifetime as well.
Yeah, so I'm putting this up here. There's over 300 business documents, hundreds of hours of in-depth training, interviews with other successful owners, which we were showing you. We have weekly industry updates, ongoing training webinars. Like Patrick said, those happen at least every other Friday. And again, that personalized book with Dr. Rackner, you had mentioned that earlier. I'm going to kind of jump right over to that. Tell them how important this book is, other than the books that we were showing earlier. how you kind of mentioned a little bit that they get to put their name on the book.
Yeah, you can see that real close. If you look at close there at the bottom, it says forward by, and then it has somebody's name. Well, that can be your name, because we've got a forward that's very generic that you can just add your name and contact information at the bottom of it. It's just a way to put your name and contact information in the book. But imagine the credibility of handing a doctor a book that has your name on the cover. It's magical. It just opens up all kinds of doors. If you want to know what's unique about our company, this is it. This is one of them right here. Well, the clearinghouse is one of them, but this is another one. Nobody that we know of has a personalized book that you can hand to a doctor as a marketing tool. It's a wonderful, and we show you how to mark the book up and highlight it. It's just Eric, I've had licensees tell me that they've given out 3 of these books in a week's time, and 2 of the doctors called them up and wanted to get a free practice analysis, which is what we teach them to do. Yeah.
And there's so much stuff that we would love to share with you this afternoon. We're kind of getting close to the top of the hour, and folks, like this one says, and if that wasn't all, you've got access to, again, all of these other services that are here. Patrick, I know that as we kind of get ready to put this together and kind of put a bow on it, I know that our topic was how to hire others to run your medical billing company, but let's take a little bit of time here to kind of talk about some of the highlights of what some of the other business owners of ABS have done. You mentioned that they could hire sales reps. I mean, that's one area of what they could do to kind of get things kicked off there.
Yeah, we've had licensees be very successful in hiring somebody that's actually out there selling to doctors already. Maybe they're drug reps, or maybe they sell, cotton balls. They can be calling on the doctor for all kinds of stuff. They can add this to their portfolio. Yes. That they now can offer medical billing through you.
Yeah, and then once you've got a doctor, you may want to end up hiring a medical biller or a medical coder. There are some people who have worked with just building their own business and they just enjoy marketing the business. And obviously they got more business for them to handle than they can actually do the billing for. So there gets to a point where you're going to start hiring your own medical billers, and hiring medical billers you'll be kind of surprised to find out that it won't be that difficult to hire some other medical billers, and some of those might actually even be coders. So kind of going back to one of the questions that we had earlier, do I have to go to school for this? Why go to school for this when you can just build your business and hire other people that might have a better specialty in that area than maybe even you do?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways you could look at this, folks. You could just say, look, I love to do data entry. I want to do all the data entry. Just give me a computer and bring me the business and I'll just put it in. That's where you would hire a sales rep, you see, to bring you the contracts with the doctors. But there are certain licensees out there that have run their own business. Maybe they've been in sales. They love the marketing aspect of it. So they want to concentrate on just getting as many clients as they can. And on the back end, hire people to actually do the actual billing work for them. So you can see that you can balance this business either way you want to do it. Or if you want to keep it all in your own backyard, so to speak, and not deal with anybody else, that's fine. We know that you can make, and people are making 6-figure incomes running this business on their own with their own clients. I'm going to show you a quote here a little bit later from one of our licensees that just told us that.
Well, Patrick, why don't you mentioned about the money back guarantee. So let's talk about that, and then we'll get to those next steps here.
Yeah, it's real simple. We try to make this as simple as possible, folks. Here's what it boils down to. You sign up for our training, go through the training. If for any reason at the end of the training, you say, you know what, I just didn't like this, or it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, tell us, and we give you all of your money back. Now, you're wondering, how do we stay in business doing that? Well, when I offered that a few years back, my staff said the same thing. How are we going to do that? Because isn't everybody going to just want to go through the training and then get their money back? But folks, you'll see once you've gone through the training that there's much, much more to this business. You would want to stay involved with us as a licensee, and you'll find out that that little $28,000 licensing fee means nothing compared to what the kind of money that you can make in this business. But the option's there. I threw that in there because I wanted people to feel comfortable, Eric, so that if they do go through the training and they go, this isn't what they told me it was going to be, they can get their money back and we don't feel bad. Nobody's going to lose any sleep over somebody, getting involved in our business.
I wanted to go back here because, Patrick, what I want to show you this is that, folks, you can see in module 6, you're going to start having some homework. You're going to be doing homework in module 7 and module 8. Now, if you just heard what Patrick just said, you're going to already be practicing what you're already learning while you're going through there is no other business in the United States that will let you go through all of this training, go out there and actually start doing it. And then at the end of this training, if you feel like it's just not for you, to give you your money back, what are you thinking? I don't know what else to tell you. Because there is no other franchise, billing opportunity, business opportunity out there that has nobody else is going to do what we just shared with you. So you gotta at least take the first leap here, folks.
Yeah, I've told people, Eric, that they don't believe that this is possible. We can give you the names of people that have bought this business and then decided that they didn't want to be involved in it. But the point is, it's less than 1/2 of 1% of the people that come through the training. So we know what we have, we know how good it is, and we know that we can offer that guarantee and not worry about it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so let's go through these 6 steps here, Patrick.
All right, there's a downloadable research guide that's over 50 pages. It's a PDF document that we can send to you, but we only send that to people who are really sincerely doing their due diligence and interested in getting into the business. So after speaking with your rep, they will decide if that's something that they want to send to you. You can get it from them, and you'll see that it has a lot of information that's not on our website. So that's worth getting. Believe me, the research guide is called. Now, if you're not sure who your rep is, by the way, you can go back to the webinar emails that you got from us and maybe find their name in there. If not, there's our email address right there that's generic enough that you can just email us and say, hey, I'm not sure who my rep is. Who should I be talking to? Or call the 800 number that you see there, and we'll do the same thing. We'll share that with you. The second thing we want you to do is to browse our YouTube channel. I think you just showed a slide, Eric, a few slides back, that was a picture of all of the different training modules that are on there's some of our past webinars, folks. Just go to youtube.com/YABS, and you'll see that there's literally hundreds of videos over the years that we've posted out there telling about this business and interviewing some of our successful licensees. So go spend some time there.
Patrick, before I leave this slide, if everybody look up on the top line and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a gal right there by the name of Jana Hammond. We're going to talk about Mrs. Hammond here just in a second here, but we're going to.
I did not realize that she was in that picture, Eric. That's a good point. So one of the things we tell you that if you want to talk to other our owners from coast to coast, we have licensees who will take calls from you and answer your questions. Yes, they're in this business too, but they're probably in a different state, and it really doesn't matter because you can sign up doctors anywhere in the United States that you want to anyway. But it says ask for an owner reference list. Now, we've got that list ready to go out to you, but let me just show you a quote. We just got this email in, so I stuck this quote in here, Eric. Look at this. This is from Jana. She says, as for taking referral calls, I need to take a break for a while, because she says, with all the clients that we've taken on this year, I don't have the availability to give them the conversation that they deserve. You see, these people will just talk to you right out of the blue, folks. You just call them up and start talking to them about it and ask them questions. She says, man, I never thought I'd get to this point with this many clients, 9 accounts and 5 employees just in this year. Wow. I wouldn't have gotten here without all your support. Thank you, Jana H. Anyway, folks, you can see her interview there on that YouTube channel. Yeah,
you bet. And I'd say, I mentioned this earlier, if you haven't seen a live webinar or a live demo of the system, folks, you're selling yourself short. That's kind of like buying a car without even taking a test drive. Yeah. So get back with your rep that you're working with here and get and do a demo of the system. Talk about these last 2 here, Patrick.
Yeah. The next and the last one is review the purchase agreement. Now, you'll get that from your rep again. We only share this with people who have decided that they're really sincerely interested in moving forward. It'll give you all the details. It's only 4 pages long, and it gives you all the funding instructions too. If you're not sure where you're going to come up with the money, we'll show you a little bit about that as well in that funding agreement. Now, the last step is just send that in and your funding, of course, and then just schedule your training. We'll put you directly in contact with your live instructor that's going to be teaching you step by step through all 10 modules. We'll let you work out that schedule between you and the instructor as to when you want to be trained. Folks, you can get trained in this in as little as 2 weeks. Probably be better if you took 3 or 4 weeks to do it, but you can get this done really, really fast. Believe me, it's not that hard, and it's a lot of fun too.
Absolutely. We got a couple of questions here that have come in here right at the end. Esther is asking, what are the transaction fees, cents per transaction you mentioned earlier? Esther, there is, those fees, those transaction fees, they're not necessarily paid by you. Those are contracted fees that are between ABS and those business partners that have an agreement with ABS. And so those are just there, and that's something that's never pulled out from your portion. So you don't ever have to calculate that out. What we showed you earlier is what you're actually getting.
It's like if you went to buy a new car right now, you might think you got it down, the dealer down to the bottom line price. What you don't know is behind the scenes that the manufacturer, Chrysler or Ford or Chevy, they actually give the dealer a rebate check of several $1,000s every time they sell a car. So you know nothing about that. Well, it's the same way with us. We didn't have to tell you, but we do make a few pennies, and that's from our partners that send that check to us, not you. Good point.
And then Cynthia's asking, great question, can we have an original name, or we have to go by ABS to our clients? Obviously, very, very good question there, Cynthia. And no, you're going to want your own name. We don't want you to really have ABS anywhere, because we don't want anybody being directed back to ABS knowing that you're maybe a brand new business owner with us. So we want you to have your own crafted name. We help you with that. Our support team can help you with that. Obviously, you learn through that in your training there. So you'll certainly know how to name your business and name it properly.